Hello, this is Linnell Gordon, and this is your MakeUp IIP reflection meeting. Since you are watching this, you had to have accessed the link that is on the document that explains your assignment for the IIP reflection. So I'm not going to go over that in this screencast. What I am going to do is just take you through the basic information that we reviewed during the IIP reflection meeting. And you can go back to that document to see exactly what you need to do, what you need to turn in, and the due date for that. So this meeting, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the CASC meeting schedule as it now stands. I'm also going to talk to you about the coach and candidate responsibilities. I'm going to introduce the Model Code of Ethics for Educators. I'm going to give you an introduction to the new IIP and the new Google Portfolio. And finally, I will talk just a little bit and get you started on your IIP reflection. So let's start with the meetings. Previously, we had scheduled 4 network meetings per year, plus an orientation at the beginning of the year. But now we have changed that. Where you are is at the beginning of year 2, your IIP reflection and presentation. Now, this year, because we did not prep you for this from the very beginning of the year, you were not asked to do a PowerPoint and a big presentation to a group of people. At the end of next year, you will be asked to do that, and we will give you more information as we get close to that. For this time, for your IIP reflection, you are going to find a couple of people, a couple of colleagues, maybe from your cohort, that you can present your work to, since you were not at the meeting itself. But as you can see, you will not have other meetings to go to until the end of year 2. The coaches do have a meeting, and we will expect them to be there. It's very important for them to be there, but your only meeting that you have left to attend will be at the end of year 2. This is another way of looking at the meeting schedule, so that at the beginning of the program, there's an orientation and an inside-out coaching training, then mid-year a coaching meeting, end of year 1 or a transition to year 2, an IIP reflection meeting, mid-year of year 2, a coach meeting, and at the end of the program, another IIP reflection and presentation. This tells you some of the things that will be happening at each of those meetings, so I'll give you a moment to read through that. Some of what you see here reflects a change, an essential change in the way we are viewing the work with our Clear Admin credential candidates. We have decided that we need to have a new focus on coaches. So because the Clear Administrative Services Credential Program is a coaching program, we believe that our focus should be on empowering and better equipping our coaches to serve the program needs of the candidates. To that end, from this point, most of our communication with the candidates will flow through the coaches. So what does that mean? The coach is going to be working with you, the candidate, to complete the IIP. And again, I will show you the updated IIP in a moment. Once that has been submitted for approval, the cohort advisors, in this case it would be me, will provide feedback to the coach. Now, I will also CC the candidate because I know you're working collaboratively together. But the point is that the coach is really responsible to make sure that your IIP is completed, uploaded on time. Once it has been uploaded, and if it needs revision, we will be telling you that, and that process of contacting the coach and CCing you so that both of you are involved will continue until that IIP is approved. Now, another change is that coaches are going to be responsible for completing the coaching logs, both the general coaching log and the face-to-face coaching logs. I think that you will see as we go that you are going to have a lot of responsibility in terms of the IIP, and it makes sense for the coaches to keep track of the coaching logs. Now, from the very beginning, we have really encouraged that coaches and candidates work on those coaching logs together because it's a great place to reflect on your work and reflect on the session, and it's a great way to actually end a session. In some cases, we do have some coaches who really believe that it should be the responsibility of the candidates to complete it. So if your coach requires that of you, then you need to do what your coach requires of you. However, if the coaching logs are not correct or they have not been uploaded on time or anything else, we will be talking to the coach about that. So just know that the ultimate responsibility is the coach, but you need to work directly with your coach on how that gets taken care of. All right, one of the things that we have added to this program is the candidate acknowledgement and agreement. You have a copy of that was sent to you when the directions for the MakeUp were sent. We would like to ask that you read that and that you sign it and date it and then return it to us. We won't go over it here, but if you have any questions or concerns about what is in that document, please feel free to email us and let us know what your questions are. Another thing that you were sent is a coach candidate agreement. This is not an official document for our program. This is to be completed just between you and your coach. Just between you and your coach. Basically, what we want you to understand is that you are making a contract with your coach, and they are making a contract with you that you're going to be working together for this year. And you need to be sure that you have made commitments to each other to be on time, to keep your appointments, to stay in communication about anything that you need help with. And we have offered this particular document for you as a place to start. When you work with your coach, you, of course, can change it or add things, whatever you need to do. This does not need to be turned into the program, but it should be something that you and your coach talk about together. Now I would like to introduce you to the Model Code of Ethics for Educators. It looks like while I am in this mode, I'm not going to be able to actually show you this video, but what I will do is send you the link to the video. And since I have already, I will just send you the link to the video. The reason this is very important is because actually the field of education does not already have a code of ethics. Yes, we do have Ed Code and some statutory information that has some guidance about ethics. But the problem is when you have to wait until it gets to the legal level, then you have often missed your opportunity to save someone's career, to save someone's certificate. And so what we want to do is make sure that we are keeping ethics at the forefront of everything that we're doing. The document, the Model Code of Ethics for Educators, has only come out in the last couple of years. We have decided to make it a part of our preliminary and clear administrative programs. We will be having a workshop on the Model Code of Ethics with Troy Hutchings, the person that you will see in this video once you are able to go there. And it will be in February, and there will be another opportunity in April, I believe. That is going to be mandatory, a mandatory part of your professional learning. So just be aware of that and be looking for the information that you need. Okay. Now let's go to the new induction plan. Let me see if I can just go there so that you can see it. And I will just take you through it. What used to be several different documents that were kept in several different folders on the Google portfolio have been just included into one single document, your individual induction plan. So to begin, you can see that the first thing you will do is your work context. This is exactly what you did before when you wrote your school context. We have just put it into what we're calling the candidate profile at the beginning of the IIP. So you would fill this out exactly as you have filled it out before. Next, we have that personal vision for education, just as we asked you to put your personal vision into that folder before. Now it is included in the IIP. So you will need to complete the exact same things that you had to complete for year one, but it's all going to be in this document. Now this should look familiar to you. Should look something like the individual induction plan that you're used to. There are a few changes. You'll notice that we are asking you to put your cohort number here and to mark whether you're year 2 or year 1. In your case, of course, it would be year 2. You have probably seen this. We're asking you to highlight whichever capsule you are working on and to provide your rationale is exactly what we asked you to do before. Here for the SMART goals, we will ask you to highlight the capsule that this goal addresses. So they're all here. If it's capsule 3B, you will highlight capsule 3B. If it's capsule 1C, you will highlight capsule 1C. And here, of course, is our frame to help you write a good SMART goal from the very beginning. So by whatever time, I will implement whatever action you're going to implement to improve, engage, or impact. Who is the target audience? In what is the area of focus as measured by, and you will tell us there the assessment or data source. I do believe this cohort has seen this before, but if not, this is your introduction to it. One of the key reasons we put in a frame is that last part that says as measured by. There seemed to be a lot of curiosity and a lot of confusion about what we mean by measuring. So you're going to right here say how you are going to measure your success on this goal, right there in the SMART goal itself. Then, of course, you have planned actions, just as you did before. And here, just as before, we're going to ask you to write down what you expect to collect as evidence of the achievement of the goal. In this case, however, we have made some distinctions. Artifacts. Artifacts are things like agendas, minutes, flyers, posters, PowerPoints, work products, etc., that indicate that you implemented the goal. But data is the evidence you collect that indicated that you achieved the desired outcome of your goal. So let's say that you were going to create a reading program for third graders in your elementary school. Well, the artifacts might be that you taught the teacher, so you might put some PowerPoints, you might put some agendas where you talked about exactly what this reading program is going to be, etc. But the data would be the outcome. It could be walkthrough data, outcome data that says, I know that the teachers were implementing this program because of the walkthrough data. Or it could be the improvement in reading scores. That's data to show that it was successful. So there are different kinds of things, but just remember you need artifacts that prove you did it, data that proves it was successful. And you do need to collect that and write what you expect to collect right here. This part is called the summary of progress on the SMART goal. You obviously cannot complete until the end. And this is the part that is a little bit different. So rather than doing an end of year reflection or anything like that. You are just going to do this write-up at the end of the year on your SMART goal, and you can see what questions you are going to answer. You can answer them briefly. This does not have to be a dissertation or a thesis. You can answer them briefly, but these are the things that you will be writing up instead of having an end-of-year reflection. Notice it says here, link. The reason it says that is because at the end of next year, you will be choosing one of your SMART goals, and you will create a PowerPoint presentation. Actually, because you missed the session, you were being asked to do a presentation this year, which you would not have been asked to do had you been at the meeting. So this should not be really different for you. But once you do this write-up, you're going to provide us with a link to the PowerPoint presentation that you will do at the end of year 2. You only have to do this for one SMART goal. So though the link also shows up under SMART Goal 2, you only have to provide one link for whether it's SMART Goal 1 or SMART Goal 2 that you do. Now you have been asked to complete your IIP, and that means that you complete all the way from here. You complete the candidate profile, you complete this section, and you complete the SMART goals. You do not complete the summaries because you can't do that yet. And that's primarily what I have to approve. What I'm looking for mostly is the SMART goals, and that your planned actions match, and that your data matches, and that it all works together. I also like to see that you have planned your professional learning, but this is another change to what we did last year. Last year, when you did your professional learning, you were asked to find professional learning that was related to your SMART goal. We have discovered that it is not necessary to do it that way, so we have changed it completely, and I think you'll find this easier and more beneficial to you. So, what do you have to do? You know that you have to have 20 to 30 hours of professional learning activities as a part of the CASC program. So these are activities in which you are the learner, not the presenter or facilitator of learning. Remember that. Some people have put in that they held a meeting with staff to teach them something, and they called that professional learning. Well, it is professional learning for the people who were in the meeting, but it's not professional learning for you. So make sure this is something that you attend where you are the learner. You must engage in professional learning activities focused on equity. So the equity category is mandatory. You must do that. Okay? You must also attend a model code of ethics training at least once during your 2 years. I just explained the model code of ethics to you earlier. So you will have to attend this once, and I already let you know that that would be in February or April, but that is mandatory, and you can see that here. Here's the model code of ethics. It's a mandatory training. Then you can choose from activities from 2 of the categories below. Now notice that I put some suggestions here. You know, if you're talking about the principalship, you could read the book, The Principal, which we did last year. You can read the book Coherence. You could read this New Principles field book. You could attend new principal trainings, or here are other. The whole point of having these are merely suggestions to get you started. You are not in any way required to do something from this list. So if you do nothing from that list, that's fine, but I need to know exactly what you are doing. So please write that in, the dates and the hours. Let me see if I can fix that, since the S's are in the wrong place. Okay, that's better. And then, of course, you would put the dates that you attended or you read or you did whatever it was and the hours that it involved. So you could choose something from the principalship, from coaching, from school climate and culture, from instructional leadership, from school and community relations, from personnel. So again, in each case, you can see that there's some suggestions in case you're not quite sure where to start, but you are free to do anything else that you can come up with. Oh, here's collaboration in professional learning communities. Then, of course, we need to know here that you have at least 20 to 30 hours. At the end of the year, you're going to do a brief summary of the insights gained from the professional learning activities. This, again, does not have to be a treatise. This can be a couple, 3 paragraphs to just give a sense of what did you get out of the professional learning that you were involved in. At the end of the year, here's where you actually will put the artifacts and data that you have collected. You remember under the SMART goals, you had a table that looked like this where you were listing what you expected to collect in terms of artifacts and data. Here's where you list what you actually did. What our suggestion is to upload those artifacts. You can upload them in the Google folder. You can upload them somewhere else, but here I would put a link to it so that we can just click on it and we can go directly to it and see it. And here for your data sources. The other option is to just go ahead and add it, to this single document. Just upload it in some way and add it to this single document. But in some way, we need to be able to access the artifacts and data sources that you have. So we have that for SMART Goal 1 and for SMART Goal 2. And that is pretty much what you have to do on the IIP. Some of you, I believe that I may already have texted or emailed to say your IIP is not complete. And that may be because you didn't know about the IIP. So you have, I believe, until November 30th to get all of this MakeUp work done. So right after November 30th, the IIP should be submitted. Feel free to submit all of this earlier if you want to. That is just fine. We need to get you going on year 2. But until this work is completed, the MakeUp work related to the IIP reflection meeting is completed, you will not really be able to get started on year 2. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, I'm going to have to look for this, I think, is that your portfolio has already been uploaded. I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. Let me show you what your portfolio looks like. Some of you are from cohort 5, some of you are from cohort 4, but let's just find some ones. Let me show you what the year 2 looks like. Okay, in the year 2, what you have here is your IIP. As you can see, this is James Navarro. This is his IIP. This is how he chose to complete it. And his IIP has been approved. Okay. Also is the self-assessment of leadership skills. Now, truthfully, you only need one of these, and we have now uploaded it. Now, since you already completed one for the beginning of last year, you can either transfer that information on this one, or you can just go ahead and at the beginning of year 2, just do it for year 2 and upload the one for year 1 as well if you don't want to have to just transfer information over. And then at the end of year 2, you're going to do this again directly on this document. You only need one document. So basically, since everything we asked you for last year is already in the IIP, the IIP and the self-assessment represents the work of the candidate. Now, in your portfolio are the coaching logs, and remember, this is the work of the coach. So, here's the first thing to know. This coaching log is actually started out as an Excel spreadsheet. So now when you add in your hours, the hours are going to be added up for you. So that makes it a lot easier to know where you are in terms of hours, because once you put some different hours in, it's going to just change the total at the bottom. Again, this is the work for the coach. not for the candidate unless the coach asks you to work with them on that. And then here is the other face-to-face coaching log. But I want to show you that not on this one. I want to show you that here. The face-to-face coaching log has changed just a bit. Primarily, it's the same. We've asked for the same information about coach and candidate, meeting number, the date, the number of hours. These are the same big headings: the summary of meeting, the connection to the IIP or capsules, the reflection, the resources, the next steps. Those are all things that were on last year's face-to-face coaching log. But this year, we have added some more information. So for the summary of the meeting, we want you to summarize the big ideas of the meeting and include any other relevant information about the session. In other words, because we didn't have good directions on this previously, sometimes a summary of the meeting was, we worked on capsule 2.3, or just something very vague, and we really don't know what happened during the meeting. The point of the coaching log is to tell a story about the coaching along the way. So we need to know, what were the big ideas, the big things, the major issues that you discussed during the meeting. Then, of course, we need the connection to the IIP and the capsules. And it says, please list the number and text of the capsules. Now, let me see if this is there. Should be. It doesn't appear to be in that one. It was moved. So let's find another one where it's still in there. Should be in there. No, it's not there. Let's go to cohort 6. I will make sure that they are in there for the coaches for cohort 5. Let's try one here. All right, so what we have done, and it should be in all of the portfolios, is we have actually put the capsules in here so that if you're working on 2A, you just copy and then you go back and you can just paste it right there. You can just copy it and paste it. So we want to know exactly what you're working on in terms of the capsules. And to just say 2A, 3A, 4B, that doesn't help me. I need to know more about it since I'm going to be looking through numerous face-to-face coaching meeting logs. All right, then the reflection. Leadership successes and challenges for the candidate. Now, many of our coaches say this is where they like to start, even at the beginning of the coaching session, because then this can lead into the other discussions that you need to have. But even if you do this at the end, these are the kinds of things that we are looking for. The resources, of course, are still the same. Any recommendations your coach may have for you in terms of professional learning, workshops to attend, people to talk to, whatever that might be. Notice that the last thing, the next steps, we have asked you to include the date, time, and focus of the next meeting. We want to know that you've planned ahead for the next meeting. And so the thing is that we do know that sometimes you make a plan for that, but then you somehow need to contact the coach ahead of time, or there's an impromptu meeting that happens, which is just fine. And that's not a problem. You can still do that, but we want to know what your plan is, exactly when you're going to be meeting, and what the focus of that meeting is. All right, let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so we did tell you that this is what is now preloaded into your portfolio. For cohort 5, we'll make sure that the capsules are uploaded. That's very important. We did tell you what is on the coaching logs and the expanded instructions for how to complete it. All right, so those are the main things that we wanted to cover. And now that you've seen that, you will have some questions to answer about this screencast that you're viewing. And then you're going to go and do your IIP reflection with 2 or 3 of your colleagues who agree to work with you on this. Remember that they are not required to, so you're just looking for people who are willing to get together with you. It can be a face-to-face session, it can be an online session, whatever you would like, however you can work it out. Remember that there are instructions on that initial document that will tell you what you need to write up as a result of your meeting with these candidates. These are the questions, of course, that you're going to address, and they are listed on your document as well. And then these are the things that you will need to be doing for year 2, and I've already mentioned this. You will need to get your self-assessment of leadership skills completed. You will need to get your IIP completed. And if you've not already done your end-of-year assessments for year 1, you can find those on PowerSchool. And it's also probable, or at least likely, that Cheryl has sent links to those. If you have questions on any of these things, please do ask us and we will get you where you need to go. So I believe that that is the end of this IIP reflection screencast. So please do get busy on getting all of this work done and get it back to us by November 30th. And don't forget to get your IIP ready to go as well. Thank you very much.